Yeah. Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat
Kwam Yasharala,
Shalom.
all praises to the Most High. All praises, man. All praise to Yahweh Hashem, Yahweh Shai HaMashiach. Yes, it's a great day. Time is moving. We're in February. You see, time is moving. See, the groundhog came up. He said, spring is going to be here soon. All right. I believe that because animals have a very good instinct and nature when it comes to determining the weather and the seasons. All right, and that's one of the best things that the Europeans ever did: use the animals to discern the times of the season. Because, like I said, animals are very good for that. They could tell you whether the winter, the summer, whatever it's going to be, because that's a natural instinct that the Most High gave the animals. All right, I like to say, to water to all the brothers and the sisters that participated in the Hamashira Yasharala in Tampa, Florida. It was a very successful summit. It was good. Brothers came out, sisters came out, everybody helped out. The sisters did a great job down in Tampa. All right, brothers did a good job. All the camps that came out, it was good. You know what I mean? It was in good spirits. Everything went well. And like I said, all praises to the Most High for everybody that contributed, that donated, that participated, that came out and made it a successful gathering of Israelites from the various states, cities, and so forth. And like I said, to water, to everybody. And big up to Light of Zion, Shalomar with his band. All right. And to Brother No Cap, to Brother Bam, that held it down in Florida. All right. And to all the camps, man. But Shalimar and his band, we're gonna work on that. I like that. That live band music. We're gonna work on that and we're gonna expand on that, man. All right. And we want everybody that have their talents to contribute, to put in, man. And we're gonna make this a great summit in every aspect. We're gonna build, we'll make it greater and better. And the classes, all the events, the things that we're gonna put into it. It's much love and much how she said time and effort and energy put into it, and we want to work on that to make it a successful summit at all times. And continue, brothers and sisters, to show the love and the unity, and let's move forward because the time is short and Babylon is coming down, brothers and sisters. So if you see the events that's taking place throughout the Middle East, you saw how America bombed Iraq and Syria in retaliation for the soldiers that got killed. And you saw who were the first people that got killed in that war, right? Israelites. Israelites got killed, all right? Like the scripture said, man, Most High said, we want to heal Babylon, man. We always the first to die in any involvement that goes on with this country. And they were the first to die in that war over there. And that's just the beginning. And I behoove all our people, stay the hell out of this white man's army. You have no business joining and fighting for this devil. Okay, let him fight his own wars because his own people don't want to fight in his wars because they've seen what this country have done to them and how they have used them, all right, and played them as suckers and fools. So we shouldn't be fighting in this man's war. Stay out of this man's army, okay, and his military, because what's coming now is judgment. All right, so we're going to jump on the current events. We see the immigrants. I gotta laugh because it's beautiful. This was all planned by the elites, man. They planned this thing so well. And the reason why they did this is to stir up these white-blooded Americans here in this country. All right. This is all part of bringing in the Civil War, the uprising, to bring in martial law, to bring in the mark of the beast system, okay, to bring in that MOTB, to bring in what you call the CHIP, all right. That's all part of it. Okay. It's to create chaos. All right. In the process of that, you destroy the currency system. And you had to say, well, this is what we had to do because of the crisis and the situation with the immigrants. The country is overflooded. We're going bankrupt. So this is all a justification for the elites to bring in their new world order. All right. So it's the immigrants, Civil War, the Third World War. It's all coming. Okay, it's right around the corner, and keep bombing and hitting those countries in the so-called Middle East because it's going to turn against you. All right, so let me get my first scripture. All right, with the immigrants issue. How many of y'all seen the immigrants? The cops had to struggle with the immigrants fighting. The immigrants are fighting against the police department. And what happened? Nobody got arrested. Everybody got released. Nobody went to prison. The cops didn't shoot nobody. You know the cops love to pull their guns and shoot. How come the cops didn't pull out no tasers or gun? Because they were given orders to stand down, buddy. Stand down. Be cool. Let this go down. And you know these cops are mad. And they said now the level of police enlistment in New York City has dropped. More and more police officers are resigning from the police department. They're leaving. Okay, this is all part of the plan because they're fed up, they're sick and tired of being shackled down. They can't use the force and the power they have as police officers. So they're leaving, they're tired of the BS, and this is all part of the plan. Because what's coming, man, is martial law, civil war, uprising, and destruction. Okay? And if you handcuffing the police department where they can arrest immigrants from doing what they're doing, it's not gonna go right, man. Okay, and you know they don't like that, especially if you're a brass, you're a lieutenant or a captain, and you told you can't arrest them. Well, what kind of crap is that? They're gonna write their politicians, their leaders, their Republicans, and that's why they're gonna put more impetus to put Teflon Don in office. Okay, and I'm trust me, Teflon Don is gonna win that election again.
He's gonna
okay.
make it, man.
Biden is not getting back in there. Okay, Teflon Don is going to step up there and he's going to become the president. And that civil war is coming. It's brewing. Okay, so let's go to the book of Nahum. Let's show you something about these immigrants because this is all part of the plan. This is all prophecies. Everything that's happening in this country, in the states, worldwide, is all based on prophecies. Okay, but before you get that, Caleb, let's go to a scripture here. Let me get the scripture right here. It's in I think it's in Micah. The Most High said, every day he bring his word to light. Every day the Most High bring his judgment to light. Give me 1 second. I think it's in. Yeah, I think it's Micah. Give me 1 second. Let me find that scripture. Micah. Is that Micah? Not Micah. It says, every day that the Most High bring his judgment to light. 1 second. Is there... Yakanan. Do me a favor, Yakanan.
Is that 1 Corinthians, Ben?
No. It's one. It's in the Old Testament. It said, every day that the Most High bring his judgment to light.
Judgment to light.
Yeah, every day does he bring his judgment to light. Yeah.
You know, then they lowered the requirements to become a police officer.
Yeah, because of what's going on now.
Right, but now it's a hiring freeze. So they lowered the standards.
Oh, Zephaniah 3:5.
Yeah.
Zephaniah 3 and 5, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, Caleb. Yeah, Caleb. Read Zephaniah 3 and 5 for me. Yeah. And then we're going to go to Nahum, the 3rd chapter.
This is the book of Zephaniah, chapter 3 and verse 5. The just Lord is in the midst thereof.
So the Most High is in the midst thereof. The Most High is controlling everything. Okay? He's calling the shots, but he used different entities to bring about what he wants done. Okay? Go ahead.
He will not do iniquity.
And the Most High will not do iniquity. Go ahead.
Every morning doeth he bring is judgment to light.
See, every morning means every day, because morning brings in a day. All right, just like evening brings in a day too. All right, okay, so every morning the Most High brings his judgment to light. All right, so it's being manifest. His judgment, his prophecies is being manifested. Go ahead.
He faileth not, but the unjust know it no shame.
See, but the Most High faileth not, but the unjust knows no shame. All right. So every day that the Most High brings his judgment to light, his prophecies, everything that he said, he brings it to light every day. If it's not every day, it's going to come to pass. Okay. So now from there, go to Nahum, the 3rd chapter. Nahum, the third chapter. We're going to start from the 12th verse, dealing with the immigrant situation. All right, because this is all part of prophecy too. All of a sudden, you got all these people coming across the border and they having all these rights and benefits. I'm gonna play something on my phone too. I want you to listen to it too. All right, so read Nahum. As a matter of fact, let me play it first. I want you all to listen to this here. And this was this Miss, and this was Becky. Becky was complaining about this. Okay, this is on TikTok. All right. Now listen to this. Okay, now listen to this
Free
here.
rent for some migrants in Maine. Taxpayers there are footing the bill for new apartments built specifically for these newly arrived border crossers. Not only a free roof over their heads, they have at least, wait for it, 2 years worth of rent paid for.
Cool.
You hear that?
So while we're all struggling to pay our rent, our mortgage, our health insurance, our gas bill, our electric bill, our water bill, our waste bill, our phone bill, and I'm sure I missed a lot of other expenses, why wouldn't we want to fork over more money to help illegal immigrants? What are we doing to help veterans besides calling them folks? What are we doing to help homeless Americans? Are we going to build them an apartment complex? I understand that people want to come here to live the American dream, but guess what? You can't do that off the backs of Americans. And if you're wondering why I'm wearing a jacket inside my house, it's because my heat is set at 61. Yeah, because that's about all I can afford.
See, so
You can't get a house anymore.
So this civil war is coming. The civil war is coming because, and if Trump doesn't get in, that's the only hope. Trump doesn't get in, it's on, baby. Forget about it. Okay? And so if Trump gets in, it's going to be a civil war. If Trump doesn't get in, it's going to be a civil war. All right? Because the Democrats is not going to allow it. They ain't going to like it. All right? So if he doesn't get in, Trump people is going to start a civil war. So you know it's coming no matter what. Okay? So everything is falling right in line, man. Okay? And you could feel the tension in the air, man. And then you had this damn Nimrata on the Breakfast Club. What's her name? That white woman. She ain't no damn Indian. What's her? Haley, what the hell her name was? She was on the Breakfast Club, and Charlemagne the fool, he ain't no God. He was asking soft questions. He wasn't really asking no real tough questions. And she got up there and said there wasn't no racism in America, that when she got here, her family taught her how to cope with the bull crap. She's a damn liar. When her family came here, her family couldn't get no job. They couldn't get the business run. The only people that was buying from her was black people. Okay? Right. So she's a damn white-looking damn descendant that came out from the Greek. Okay? She claims she came from the Brahmins of India. But that's the elite family that was left over from the Greek children. Okay? Remember, the Greek took over the Persian Empire. All right? And then later down in the future, the British Empire took over India. And they left their seed and their offspring in that country to control the wealth and of that country. So she's none of the last descendant of that Greek and British family descent. You can look at her and see she's white, but she's an Indian. But she's part of the agenda to uphold white supremacy. Okay, and she was on the Breakfast Club, and she went there specifically to push her garbage and her doctrine because she know that fool Charlemagne wasn't going to ask her no real tough question. Understand? He was asking a softball question, and then he was just being nice to her. She should have gotten a real black show host, right? Where they grill her behind and ask her the tough questions. Okay? But she's not going to win. She's not going to win, not even her state that she comes from. Trump is going to win that. And in the end, she's going to end up supporting Trump in the end of this. Just like that coon, Tim Scott. Okay? And then you had the other one from Florida. He supported Trump too. All of them is going to support Trump. Look, Trump won New Hampshire. That's a white state. Predominantly conservative white people up in New Hampshire. He won Iowa. Okay? And eventually he's going to win all these states. Okay? Because eventually the mass of these so-called white people is going to see that, wait a minute, our country is going to the dogs. It's in the toilet. And they're going to say the only people that could save us is Trump because they see Biden is not doing nothing for them. It's that Biden is weak. He's old. Okay? And he's allowed all the immigrant crisis to come to the country. And you know white America doesn't like that. They don't like black people. So imagine all these other people coming to their country. It's going to be a problem. So let's go to the book of Nahum, the 3rd chapter, and the 12th verse, Caleb.
This is the book of Nahum, chapter 3 and verse 12. All thy strongholds shall be like fig trees with the first ripe figs.
See, now all thy strongholds shall be like fig trees with the first ripe figs. What is America's strongholds? The border, the military, the police department, okay? The whole system, the stronghold, the financial system is all collapsing and falling. Now you say the stronghold shall be like fig trees with the first ripe figs. You know, figs, when they're ripe, they drop off the trees. Okay, they don't stay on the tree, they drop off. So that shows you all of America is crumbling, it's falling. Okay, that's what it's showing you. Continue.
If they be shaken, they shall even fall into the mouth of the eaters.
So if you shake the tree, all those ripe figs are going to drop off instantly. That's a sign showing you that everything in this country is falling. It's coming down. Continue.
Behold, thy people in the midst of thee are women.
And the men are like women now. They want to be transgender. Okay. Want to be homosexual. Okay. Didn't somebody ran for a beauty pageant and he was a transgender and won? Yeah, I think it was recently. Someone of these fools ran for a beauty pageant and he won as a transgender. But you know what? There was a calypso singer that sung that years ago. He said, in America, a transgender is going to win the beauty pageant. And it did happen. All right? So the scripture said, the men that say are like women. Okay? Read that verse again.
Behold, thy people in the midst of thee are women.
They are women. They turn into women. Transgender. Bender genders. Okay? All these different names they're using. What's so many names they call them? I can't remember the name, but they call them so many different names.
Alphabets.
It's a whole list of names for these. I won't say okay, because if I say them, I might take it off.
Strike.
So let me just keep my mouth shut. All right, go ahead.
The gates of thy land shall be set wide open unto thine enemies.
You see that? The Most High said, the gates of thy land shall be set wide open unto thy enemies. Is the border open? All over. The border of this country is open all over. How did they come in? They came in over the border. Okay? And it was a plan of the elites to let them come in. They were told to stand down. The guards at the borderline were told to stand down. Let them come in. How the hell you got all these people coming over the border and just came in the country like that? It's a plan. Yes, Judah. And beating the police down. You understand? How is it that all these people came in the country over the border and there's no regulations, nothing to send them back, nothing to stop what's going on? Come on, man. This is all part of the plan. Yeah, Judah.
They had a white Edomite, a political white Edomite, has made a statement on TV saying that the black people has took the second seat.
Mm-hmm.
What she meant. And
Come on closer so you could hear what you said. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
She said,
Repeat what you said again.
a white woman on public TV, a political one,
Mm-hmm.
has said that black people now have took a second seat
Mm-hmm.
to the immigrant,
Mm-hmm.
meaning that we were the disturbance. Now they coming over and they are the main disturbance.
Right. So it's all part of the plan of the elites is to create that scenario of a civil war and to change the whole system over. That's part of the plan. Okay. So read that latter part of the 12th verse again, Caleb.
If for the 13th verse.
Yeah, read 13. Yeah.
Behold, thy people in the midst of thee are women. The gates of thy land shall be set wide open unto thine enemies. The fire shall devour thy bars.
Mm-hmm.
Draw thee waters for the siege. Fortify thy strongholds. Go into clay and tread the mortar. Make strong the brickling.
Mm-hmm. What are the bricklaying that they're making strong now? They're bunkers. They're going to those bunkers now, man. Okay, go ahead.
There shall the fire devour thee. The sword shall cut thee off. It shall eat thee up like the worm, the conquerworm. Make thyself many as the conquerworm. Make thyself many as the locust.
Okay, so when some people read this, they say, "Well, bro, this was talking about in the time of Nahum the prophet with Nineveh." Yes, it was. See what people understand.
Right.
History always repeats itself. America is also has the attributes of Nineveh. All the powers that ruled before, the Babylon, Nineveh, the Assyrians, America took on all those attributes of those nations. And the Most High is sharing the same scenario that happened to those nations back in the ancient time is going to happen again all over again, because the same thing that happened to nations that ruled before is going to happen again. There's nothing new under the sun. Okay, continue.
Verse 16. Thou hast multiplied thy merchants above the stars of heaven.
Okay, and what was Nineveh famous for? For exporting, importing, trading. What is America famous for? Importing, exporting, trading with everybody around the world. China, the Arabs, okay? Anybody, the Chinese, the Japanese, okay? At one point in the 80s, most of your import of electronic stuff was Japanese made. Now today, most of your import is made from where? China, like Trump, China. Okay, back in the 80s was Japanese made products, cars. Okay, Japanese electronics, Iowa, Toshiba, Sanyo, okay, Panasonic. Okay, most of your electronics brand were Japanese made. Okay, your best stereo system you have was made from Japanese, Iowa. All right, now today, what is it? Chinese. You pick up a phone, made in China, made in Malaysia. Okay, so America is that important country famous for importing and exporting, just like Nineveh was. Okay, continue.
Verse 16. Thou hast multiplied thy merchant above the stars of heaven.
And who's America's merchants? All the nations of the earth. Continue.
The conquerworm spoil it and fly it away.
Mm-hmm.
Thy crown are as the locusts, and thy captains as the great grasshoppers, which camp in the edges in the cold day. But when the sun ariseth, they flee away, and their place is not known where they are.
So the Most High is going to bring all these insects upon the agricultural fields, and worms represents a decay of a system. Let me prove that. Hold that. Go to Isaiah the 14th chapter. Worms represents decay and corrosion and collapse of your society, of your system. your infrastructure. Let's go to Isaiah the 14th chapter. I'm sharing. We're going back to Nineveh. All right, because America is in a state of collapsing, corruption, decline. The infrastructure is going downhill. Okay, let's start here from Isaiah 14 and 9.
This is the book of Isaiah, chapter 14 and verse 9. Hell from beneath is moved for thee to meet thee at thy coming.
So hell, destruction, death is coming for this place. Okay, go ahead.
It stirred up the dead for thee.
So the Most High is going to stir up all the dead for this place. Nothing but death and destruction is coming for this place. All right. Okay, continue.
Even all the chief ones of the earth, it hath raised up from their thrones all the kings of the nations.
And all the kings of the nations are going to come against America. Okay, continue bombing Iraq and Syria, and you're going to see what's going to happen. All right, because remember, even your own European nation is going to turn against you. Eventually, go ahead.
All they shall speak and say unto thee, art thou also become weak as we?
And that's what the nations are saying now. Are you become weak like us? The nations have the same capabilities that America has. Drone technology, okay? AI technology. And it's going to be used against this country and against the military. How do you think the Houthis are able to do what they're doing? Because they're using almost the same technology that America is using. Continue.
Art thou become like unto us? Thy pump is brought down to the grave.
See, what is your pump? What does pump mean? Look up that word pump. Google that word and look up pump and see what it means. P-O-M-P. Thy pump is brought down. And what does it say? What's the meaning to give you for pump? Anybody found it? What it says?
It says pump is anything from nice to me or dumb to stupid. The possibilities are endless.
But pump also mean to the strength. How they keep all these glorious songs. America the Great. And remember this famous song they had this one used to sing all the time? I think it was by what's his name? Rod Stewart or one of these guys. We will kick your ass. We will not pump. P-O-M-P. P-O-M-P. Not pump, but pump. Pump. P-O-M-P.
I have a definition for it.
What it says?
Cheap and plenteous or vain display.
A vain display. And America has a vain display when they use their military prowess and power around the world. Okay? So now their pump that they have, all that arrogancy of boasting.
Ben says a show of magnificence.
See? A show of magnificence. That's gone. That splendor of America is gone. They don't have that splendor like they used to have back in the 50s, the 40s. That splendor is gone. It has died out. When they could boast around the world, this is America. This is the greatest country. We'll kick your ass. All that is gone. That splendor is gone. Even though they retaliated and the bomb in certain places in Iraq and Syria, that doesn't mean nothing. Okay? So that pump, their pump is dwindling. They're losing that. Okay? So read what it says again. What it says, Yahweh, the pump, the splendor.
A show of magnificence, splendor, the pump of a royal ceremony.
Right, that royal ceremony. We have all that ceremony of boasting about America. They don't have that no more. Remember once upon a time when the soldiers came back home from war, they have big parades and glorious things. They don't have that no more. When they came back from World War II, they were given a hero's welcome. Yeah, you kicked the Hitler, you kicked the Nazis' ass. Okay? When they came back from Vietnam, it wasn't like that. They were boo, boo, baby killers, baby killers. Okay? in all the wars when they came back, they didn't get that great glory and pomp because those wars were based on lies. When they went to Iraq, that was another lie. They claimed that Iraq had chemical weapons and weapons of mass destruction. That was a lie. Bush lied. Okay, everybody saw right through the whole lie. They went to Afghanistan. Nobody really like, well, what are you doing for 20 years? Then they left all the weapons and everything over in Afghanistan, left it to the Taliban. All right. So that pomp and that glory is gone down. All right. So read that verse again, Caleb.
This is Isaiah chapter 14 and verse 11. Thy pomp is brought down to the grave.
See, the pomp is brought down to the grave. Go ahead.
And the noise of thy voils. The worm is spread under thee.
See, the worm is spread under thee. Worm represents decay. All right. When you have a dead body, what's in the dead body? Worms, parasites, eating the body. It's decaying, decomposing. Okay, go ahead.
And the worms cover thee.
See, and the worms are covering this country now. Worms. And the Most High said, what the Most High calls? The Most High said, thou worm, Jacob. Because a worm is nothing. All right? It's small, but it's very destructive. Okay? Continue.
Verse 12. How art thou fallen from heaven, O Lucifer, son of the morning?
That's not talking about Satan. That's talking about a power that's ruling. Okay? How art thou fallen from heaven, O Lucifer? How are you losing your power? All right? Your military power, your influence around the world. Okay? Because Lucifer means the bright and morning star. All right? Continue.
How art thou cut down to the ground, which didst weaken the nations?
Mm-hmm.
For thou hast said in thine heart, I will ascend into heaven. I will exalt my throne above the stars of God. I will sit also upon the mount of the congregation in the sides of the north.
And who's the congregation that he's sitting upon? Who's the congregation that he's sitting upon?
Israel.
The children of Israel. He's sitting upon us. All right? Ruling over us. Continue.
I will ascend above the heights of the clouds. I will be like the Most High.
Yeah, he went in outer space. Okay, he went on outer space, but he didn't go to the moon. Yeah, he went out there in outer space. Okay, he has his technology out there in outer space. Okay, he has all his avionic technology out there, his fighter bombs, planes, stealth bombers. Okay, go ahead.
Yet thou shalt be brought down to hell, to the sides of the pit.
So death. Continue.
They that see thee shall narrowly look upon thee and consider thee, saying, is this the man that made the earth to tremble?
And that's what all the nations are going to say eventually. Is this the man that made the earth to tremble? And how did he make the earth to tremble? By using his military power to dominate and control the nations, making policies and just laws. Continue.
That did shake kingdoms.
And he shook kingdoms by dropping bombs. Go ahead. You gonna say something, Yahweh? Oh, go ahead.
That made the world as a wilderness and destroyed the cities thereof. That opened not the house of his prisoners.
And who are the prisoners? The children of Israel. Still has the same prison. All right. And Yakanan just quoted the scripture today. He that stealeth from man and he be found in his hands, what's going to happen to him? He surely be put to death. And we're still here as his prisoners here in his hand. Okay, go ahead.
All the kings of the nations, even all of them, lie in glory, everyone in his own house.
See, all the nations gonna be in their own land, in their own seat, doing their own thing. Go ahead.
But thou art cast out of the grave like an abominable branch, and as the remnant of those that are slain, thrust through with a sword, that go down to the stones of the pit, as a carcass trodden on the feet.
All right. So meaning he's going to be brought down to a low level and destroyed. Continue.
Thou shalt not be joined with them in burial, because thou hast destroyed thy land, and slain thy people. The seed of evildoers shall never be renounced.
See, the seed of evildoers shall never be renowned. Okay, all that white supremacy that they had, that privilege that they had, is coming to an end. I'm so glad, because you know what? The whole world has been under the influence of white supremacy for a long time. Everywhere you go in the earth is white supremacy. Okay, you even go to Africa, they still got white supremacy over there. Okay, you go to China, the same thing. To Japan, anywhere you go in the face of the earth, it's white supremacy. Okay, and you might say, well, that's not true, brother. Show me one country in the face of the earth today that doesn't have white supremacy in their country today, and I'll stop teaching. Every country in the face of the earth has been indoctrinated by white supremacy. Okay, India has the same thing too. Okay, and they call it a caste system, where the white-looking ones are more in distinguished position, and the black-looking ones are pushed back in the background. They're called untouchables, outcasts. Anywhere you go in the world, that's all you see, the white-looking rulership. When you go to South America, who controls all the big banks and finances? The Spaniards. And the darker people are pushed back. Go to Australia, the same thing. The British run and control Australia. The Aborigines are pushed out, and they're living in hell. You should see how the people in Australia live. You think we catch hell? Man, they catch some raw hell. They don't even have decent houses to live in, man. The projects here is better than what they're living in Australia. You should see that thing, man. It's a pure, despicable, unbearable for anybody to live in conditions like that. The Australian Aborigines that live out, and what they put them on what they call reservations. Living in pure hell, man. And they get a beat down too, man. When they go to the precinct to file a complaint, those Australian white Australians, they beat the hell out of them, man. There was a documentary on that. You should check it out. And how the Aborigine of Australia, how they live. It's pure hell, man. I think, you think we have it bad? They got it bad, man. You should see the living conditions, man. Like I said, the projects over here is a palace compared to what they're living over there, man. I'm telling you, man. And that's all based on white supremacy. The white Australians over there that's ruling over in Australia. Okay? That was it on that, right?
Got another one. Verse 21. You want me to read that?
Yeah, read that too. That has to be read. That has to be read.
This is the book of Isaiah, chapter 14 and verse 21. Prepare slaughter for his children.
Now, for all of this now, the Most High said, prepare slaughter for his children. This is the icing for the cake. Okay? That's the final part of the cake. Okay? The cake is not complete unless this is put into play. Okay? Read that verse again.
Prepare slaughter for his children, for the iniquity of their fathers, that they do not rise, nor possess the land, nor fill the faces of the world with cities.
So the Most High said that they do not rise ever again and run and control any more cities around the face of the earth. Okay? They can't have their policies, their way of life, their democracy, nothing in any place in the earth. That's what the Most High said. Read again.
Prepare slaughter for his children, for the iniquity of their fathers, that they do not rise.
See, that they do not rise no more. Go ahead.
Nor possess the land.
Nor possess no more lands.
Nor fill the face of the world with cities.
Nor fill the face of the cities with this ugly looking face and their way of life. Okay? No more of that. Continue.
For I will raise up against them, saith the Lord of hosts, and cut off from Babylon the name and remnant and sons and nephews, saith the Lord.
All right. See, and that's what the Most High is saying. Now go back to Nahum, the book of Nahum. We left off on what, the 18th verse. Yeah, we read 17. Yeah, Yeah, 18.
This is the book of Nahum, chapter 3 and verse 18. Thy shepherds slumber, O king of Assyria. Thy nobles shall dwell in the dust.
So the same thing happened to Assyria is going to happen here to America too. The nobles going to sit in the dust too. They're going to be brought down. All of their nobles, the elites that run this country, the oligarchy, the plutocrats, the aristocrats, all right, the Rockefellers, the Rothschilds, the DuPont, the Gettys, all these elite families, the bankers, okay, they're going to be brought down too. Continue.
Thy people is scattered upon the mountains, and no man gathereth them.
Mm-hmm.
There is no healing of thy bruises.
See, there's no healing of thy bruise. That's what the Most High said in Jeremiah. We would have healed Babylon, but she can't be healed. But it's only our people trying to heal Babylon. There's no healing for Babylon. Continue.
Thy wound is grievous.
See, thy wound is grievous. You know when you have a grievous wound that is festering? Okay, go ahead.
All that hear the bruit of thee shall clap the hands over thee.
So you know what I'm saying? He said, all that hear the bruit of thee, all that hear the destruction of Babylon the Great is going to clap their hands. And that's going to happen. The Most High tells you, go to Revelation 18. It said the nation's going to be standing afar off when you see a destruction of Babylon the Great. All right? And what they're going to do? They're going to rejoice over her, man. You understand? The nation's just waiting for this whore to fall, man. All right? Revelation 18, right?
We didn't finish this, man.
Yeah, no, I'm finish that. Then we go to Revelation 18.
For upon whom at not thy wickedness pass continually.
See? Upon whom did not their wickedness pass continually? All nations upon the face of the earth. Okay? And when you go to Revelation 18, right, it says right here, start from the 9th verse.
This is the book of Revelation, chapter 18 and verse 9. And the kings of the earth who had committed fornication and lived deliciously with her.
So how have the kings of the earth committed fornication with Babylon the Great? The Most High uses it in the term of sexual relationship. But how have the nation of the earth committed fornication with Babylon the Great? How has the nation been partakers of Babylon the Great?
Took on their culture,
Right.
lifestyle,
The lifestyle, the culture, the democracy.
democracy.
Okay.
Their cities are built like America.
Yeah, they want to be just like America. All right. They have taken on all the traits, the customs of America, maybe a democracy. All the identity, the false religions, okay, the different forms of Christianity. Okay. So read that verse again.
Verse 9. And the kings of the earth who have committed fornication and lived deliciously with her.
How have they lived deliciously with her? Right. Money. Money. Right. Yes. Mhm.
One scripture.
Yeah.
Wisdom of Solomon 14, verse 12. For the devising of idols was the beginning of spiritual fornication, and the invention of them, the corruption of life.
Right. So they have been involved in America in every form, the Christianity, the religions, the cult practices, the Freemasonry, okay, the different members of the Illuminati, okay, the Scottish Rite, Freemasonry, all of them been partakers in America's wickedness. And especially when they said they have lived deliciously, they have made money off of America. Okay, all the nations got rich off of America, trading and dealing with America. Yes.
They had a show with about 4 or 5 brothers. They said the reason why they would vote for Donald Trump is because of their business.
Yeah, to make money. It's all about money. You understand? China became rich because of America, dealing with America. Japan, the Arab countries with their oil. If they wasn't selling the oil to America, they would never have gotten rich, because America is the largest dependent of the oil from the Middle East. America needs that oil, especially back in the 70s when they were making those big gas guzzlers, those big cars. And cars was taking up a lot of fuel. And then when the Japanese came up with the technology of making smaller, more efficient cars, America said, wait a minute, wait a minute. We have to do like the Japanese now. And that's when they started making smaller cars, more efficient, fuel efficient. All right? Because they saw that it was taking up too much fuel and oil and gas. But the Japanese brought in that technology in the 80s. That's why you don't see these big cars no more that America makes no more. Only thing that they make big now is like the SUVs, which is good because you need that for leg room. I can't deal with no small squinch up car, man. I need a SUV, a 7-seat with room, man, so I could stretch my foot out. Okay? I remember one time Qatar's rented one. That thing was a disaster, man. You were there, Yahweh? That thing was a disaster, man. That wasn't no 7-seater, man. That was made for Chinese, man. That wasn't made for black people, man. That thing was a Chinese made, man. Yeah, we were squashed up in, you was there, Yahweh, right? Man, we were squashed up in that thing, man. I said, yo, never rent this thing here again, man. Never again, man. All right? So all the nations got richer off of America, whether importing, exporting, through electronic products, whatever, they made money off of America. Okay? And America used them by getting cheap labor and cheap wages too, because that's what America does. America, what they call, what's the term they use when you take your big corporation, you send it overseas to other country? What's the term they use? I forgot the term they use. Outsource. They outsource the companies and the big businesses, so they don't have to pay the workers here prevailing wages, and they send them to Malaysia and Indonesia and those countries where they could pay the people like $5 an hour. You understand? You get all the work done for cheap labor. And that's what America still wants. They don't want to really pay you. They want to get you for cheap labor. So when they talk about immigrants, they need the immigrants to have them working for cheap labor too. But they just use that talking on the side of their mouth. But they want those migrants so they can have cheap labor. Because the plan is to get rid of us and some of their own people and have them working for cheap labor. It's all about money, profit, man. Big corporations is not about you making money off of them. It's about them making money off of you. Capitalism, that's what capitalism is. Make money, a vampire system. All right? So go ahead, finish reading at Revelation 18.
Starting at 9 again.
Mm-hmm.
And the kings of the earth who have committed fornication and lived deliciously with her.
And they have lived deliciously with America. All right, go ahead.
Shall bewail her.
See, they're going to bewail her after a while. Eventually, they're going to bewail America. Go ahead.
And lament for her.
And they're going to lament for her. All right, go ahead.
When they shall see the smoke of her burning.
When they shall see the smoke of her burning, because it's going up in smoke. Okay, go ahead.
Standing afar off for the fear of her torment, saying, at last, that great city Babylon, that mighty city, for in 1 hour is thy judgment come.
And it's going to come in 1 hour. This whole entire place is going to be burned up in 1 hour. That's going to be a massive destruction, man. Okay, go ahead.
And the merchants of the earth shall weep and mourn over her.
Yeah. Why are they going to weep and mourn over her? Why? They can't make no more money. Money can't be made. Okay, go ahead.
For no man buyeth their merchandise anymore.
Nobody's going to buy the merchandise no more.
The merchandise of gold and silver and precious stones and of pearls and fine linen and purple and silk and scarlet and all thine and thine wood and all manner of vessels of ivory and all manner of vessels of most precious wood, of brass and iron and marble.
So all these wealth and resources that America has that they were exporting and importing to different countries, they're not going to enjoy those benefits no more and that wealth. Okay, especially China. China makes money off of America. China invests largely in America. But guess what? The Chinese, they make inferior products and they ship it to America. But the good products they keep in their country. All that inferior product that you see over here is Chinese made. That's inferior. But the good product they keep in China. They don't send their good products over here. See, the nations will use America to make money, but they're not going to give their best of their technology to America. And that's how you fight economical, all right? And that's how you fight commercial war against a country that you can't go up toe to toe, all right? Because most countries can't fight America straight up, face to face. Most countries fight against America how? Guerrilla warfare or using proxies, all right? But eventually, they're going to fight against America toe to toe too. Because they're going to see that they have nothing to lose. Right? Go ahead.
Verse 13. And cinnamon and odors and ointments and frankincense and wine and oil and fine flour and wheat and beast and sheep and horses and chariots and slaves and souls of men.
See, and who's the slaves? We're the slaves and the souls of men. And the chariots represents what? The cars. All right. And you know, America is famous for what? It's flour and it's wheat. America is a bread basket. Okay, corn, wheat, all those states in the Midwest, like Illinois, Iowa, Nebraska, Michigan, Indiana.
Corn Belt states.
Those are Corn Belt states, man. You know, then you have Wisconsin and those states out there that produce a lot of wheat, right? Those are big producing states when it comes to corn and wheat. Okay, and then you have Oklahoma, Texas, that produces what? Oklahoma, Nebraska, and Texas are famous for what? Beef. He says some of the best beef in the world comes from here in America, from Texas. All right? That longhorn cattle from out there in Texas, man. And some of them are grass-fed too. All right? Nebraska, all right? And those places, man, famous for their beef. Oklahoma. Yeah, sirloin steak, the T-bone, New York strip steak. When I used to work in the meat department, most of our beef used to come from Nebraska. Shipping those big boxes of beef from Nebraska, man. All right. When all those markets in Hunts Point, when it comes in with the shipment with the beef, it comes from out there, from out there west, Texas and Nebraska. You understand? Yeah, USDA prime beef, prime choice beef. All right. You get that tenderloin, that sirloin, man. All right. You get all those the tenderloin, porterhouse, T-bone. That's the best part of the steak, man. Best part, man. A clubhouse steak. Man, you put that thing cooks in 5 minutes and tender as heck, man. When you slice it, you go right to the clubhouse steak, man. Yeah, tender, man. A sirloin, New York strip steak. You understand? And those are the most expensive part of the steak. You know, like the chuck steak. That's the other part from the show. That's not so expensive. Chuck steak. You know. So we used to get a lot of shipment of our beef from out there in Nebraska. I was back in the 80s when I used to work for the meat department. Right. You know, we used to unload the truck, boom, shipping in like 30 cases of beef, the beef. Then you should have the hanging one where the guy used to work in the freezer to bone it out. So you come with the head cut off, you just get a whole thing of beef. And he had to break it down to pieces. Yeah, man. A lot of beef, man. Every day you see it. Be like, it's amazing the amount of beef used to come into this country, man. And go, look, there's thousands, man. You're like, wow, do we ever run out of beef? And then you supplying thousands of different supermarkets throughout this country. Thousands, man. Not only in Europe, but other states. You know? So it's a lot of beef, man. A lot of beef has grown. But then recently, in the last couple of years, a lot of ranchers in Texas were selling off their cattle because of the drought. Remember last year when they had all that drought? A lot of the ranchers were selling off their cattle because they couldn't make no money. So they had to sell off the cow and the ranch and everything, man. It was going through a massive drought. But those states, man, Texas, Oklahoma, Nebraska, those are the beef states, man. All right. And then like all the Corn Belt states. One second. Yeah. The Corn Belt states, famous for producing corn. Right? Because at one point, corn was being produced so much. What did they start doing to the corn?
Ethanol, I think.
Right. They started making fuel. Yeah. Fuel from the corn. All right. When they had so much surplus of the corn being stored up and wasn't being sold, they started making the corn into fuel to fuel some of the hybrids. Yeah, ethanol. Yeah. Yep. So you see how rich this country is because of us, because we're here. You understand? Just like Egypt. When we were in Egypt, it was prosperous. You understand? So all that corn, that's a lot of corn to make fuel, man. Yeah. You know? All right. So go ahead.
This is the book of Revelation, chapter 18 and verse 14. And the fruits that thy soul lusted after are departed from thee, and all things which were dainty and goodly are departed from thee.
And all these things going to start to depart away from this country as we get closer to the time. All right, go ahead.
And thou shalt find them no more at all.
Right, and they're going to start to lose all these things, just like the population of white America. They're not they're not multiplying fast enough. They're dying off. They're a dying breed. White America, even in Italy, the population is dying off. Remember, Biden came out and said by 2030, 2050, whites is going to be a minority. They were always the minority, but they try to hype it up to make you believe that they were the majority. You understand? Yeah, Howard up.
And it has so much validity to it that now women that are pregnant are, once they go into the hospital, there's limited chance that they come out.
Mm-hmm.
Because they don't want the seeds to be, they know the eggs are dying. They
Right.
don't want us to be.
Yeah, their population is dying off, man. They're not multiplying, but we're multiplying. And they see that, man. They're like, wait a minute, Hispanics and black is going to be the dominant people in this country.
Mm-hmm.
And they see it and they know it. And they're trying to do something about it. But there's nothing they could do. They can't stop. Just like in Egypt, they try to stop us from multiplying, right? I remember this song he made, we don't die, we multiply. Yeah. Yeah, you understand? So no matter what they try to do to us, we keep multiplying. And you know, during the 80s, from the early 80s to like the late 80s, when they had the wars with the Crips and the Bloods, they said more young black men from the age of 16 to about 25, more of them died than soldiers died in Vietnam. That's ridiculous.
Mm.
That's crazy, man. And then the abortion rate.
Mm.
So imagine if we didn't have the abortion and all that death.
Oh boy, yeah.
Could you imagine? That's crazy, man. Yeah, Judah. Oh, yeah. Don't talk about that. The crack epidemic, man. Woo. That destroyed us, man. Generation, man. That destroyed us, man. But when I read it about with the gang wars, man, with the Crips and the Bloods from that era, man, they said it's unbelievable, man. The amount of young black men that died, man. That's crazy. That's what you call genocide, man. That's a planned genocide against us, man. Yeah, come up closer, Judah. Come out closer. Yeah.
It got so bad that the funeral parlors, they had to store them in other places because they couldn't store the bodies.
Yeah.
It was bad.
Yeah, it was real bad, man. I mean, young black men from that age, from 16 to 25, dying for senseless violence, man. You know, and a good thing the Most High put an end to that thing, man, because I'm telling you, man, but it was something else, man. You know, and that's why Ice Cube made that song. Today was a good day. I didn't have to use my AK. And that's a real thing. He made that song because that's true. He didn't have to use his AK to kill another brother again, man. Imagine you using your AK just to kill and mow down your brother for something stupid, man. Senseless violence, man. You know, but it's something else, man. We've been through a whole lot, man. I don't think nobody suffered what we suffered, man. Nobody suffered what we suffered, man. And then in Jamaica and the islands, the violence, they're saying one day, it's like 10, 15 people dying in one day.
That's just the ones that you know about.
Just the one that you know about. That's being reported, man. So imagine for 30 days, how many people died within 1 month time. It's crazy, man. In all the islands, the same thing, man. Bloodshed, man.
I think Trinidad is the number one.
Trinidad is crazy, man. It's Trinidad, they lost their minds, man. Senseless violence, man. It's crazy. You know? So the Most High gotta put an end to this madness, man. Because like the Most High said, we have surpassed the deeds of the wicked, man, when it comes to doing evil. Most High said we are wise to do evil, but to do good, we have no knowledge. Understand? But that shows you, man, that we had to go through this evil, this great plight and destruction against us, man. All right? Continue.
Verse 15. The merchants of these things, which were made rich by her, shall stand far off for the fear of her torment, weeping and wailing.
Yeah, when they see us, they're going to be standing up for weeping and wailing, man. All right? Go ahead.
And saying, at last, that great city that was clothed in fine linen and purple and scarlet and decked with gold and precious stones and pearls, for in 1 hour so great riches is come to naught.
Mm-hmm.
And every shipmaster and all the company in ships and sailors and as many as trade and seek by sea stood afar off.
All right. So you see now what's taking place over there in Yemen, right? Everybody see what's taking place over there in Yemen by the Red Sea. That area is a seaport, or what you call a maritime navigational, where all international ships that's bringing in cargo and vessels travel through that area of the Red Sea. And another part they used to is the Suez Canal. So America has ships in that area that transport oil, electronic components, all sorts of imports and exporting. England, right? And what the Houthis are doing, they're preventing the American and the British and the Israelis from shipping their goods through that area of the Red Sea. Right. So it's a major strategic point. All right. So that's why America and Britain is trying their best to hammer and destroy the Houthis and Iraq and the Iranian proxies, so they could keep America constant maritime navigational import and export through that area. Because as an empire or ruling kingdom, you must have the seas capable to transport your goods back and forth. If you don't have that, what will happen eventually? If you don't have ships navigating and bringing goods to your country, what will happen eventually?
Gonna have a famine.
It will collapse your economy. You understand? Your economy will collapse. And it will cause the price of goods to inflate. It will cause an inflation. So with your maritime power, you have to use your Navy forces to continue that route to be free from what? From being hijacked, vandalized, or attacked by enemy forces. So that's why America and Britain has their forces out there to protect that sea route. Understand? It's actually called what you call what's the term you use? Hang, how do I lose my thought on that? It's called it's a strait, but what's it? Another term they use when you have control of the land and oh man, wow. It's gonna come back to me. How I lose my thoughts so quick on that? But it's having control over the economical and the geographical terrain of the land. All right, you must have control over those geographical and economical resources of the land. So you have to gain more of that control. And that's what America, Britain, and the so-called Israelis want to have. So they can have more control, more freedom, and more control over the wealth of the earth.
Resources.
Of the resources called geopolitics.
Right.
Geopolitical control over the earth. If you don't maintain that, you will fall as a superpower. As a superpower, you must have geopolitical control over the resources of the earth. You understand? Yeah, Judah.
Yeah, that's why they have what do you call them ships that's under the water, the
Submarine
Submarines.
subs.
submarines and stuff like that.
Right.
That domain, yeah.
To keep that area. And then you have ships out there to patrol that maritime navigational area. You must have that protected at all costs. Because if you don't, you're going to lose money. Your economy is going to collapse. So you have to keep your economy intact by continual importing and exporting of various goods from different countries. And the Houthis know exactly why America, Israel, and Britain have to have those straits free from their attacks. That's why they're hammering, they retaliated against Iraq and Syria. They call them Iranian proxies. You understand? And this is going to build up to the climax of the Third World War.
That's right.
All right? Because everybody is jockeying for geopolitical position of the geopolitical resources of the earth. Israel wants to have total control of the Gaza Strip and the West Bank. So what they eventually want to do is to make a canal coming from the Red Sea to go right straight through the Gaza Strip. And they want to eventually push out the Palestinians and the people of Gaza so they could build that seaport right up, straight up into Haifa. That's what Netanyahu wants. And he's using America and Britain to get what he wants done. That's the whole point of it, to build a strategic seaport that goes right through the bottom of the Red Sea from the Gulf of Aqaba and goes straight through the Gaza Strip. That's the route that they want to build. They want to knock off the Suez Canal from the Arabs. See, it's all about jockeying for geopolitical positioning. All right. So it's between Britain, America, and the so-called Israelis. They want to control that. So that's the purpose why Netanyahu went to war against the Hamas. That was the justification. If you could destroy Hamas and the Gaza Strip, you could build that port that they want from the Gulf of Aqaba through the Red Sea and bring it straight through the land of Israel and come straight through the Gaza Strip. So they're in the way of doing it. So this is a justification to go to war. You understand? So when they build that canal, it will give them more access to the resources of the earth because it's going to run straight in to Haifa. Haifa is a major seaport in Israel where the Israelis do all their shipping and exporting. But it's hard to get to that. You have to come across from the Mediterranean Sea. But if you cut straight through the Gulf of Aqaba and the Red Sea, you could knock out the Arabs from controlling the Suez Canal and the people in Yemen from controlling that other strait that's around there. So it's jockeying for geopolitical positioning. All right, that's what it's all about. Don't believe that crap about democracy and we want democracy. No, don't believe that. It's about who controls the resources of the earth and has access to it is the superpower of the earth. That's what it's all about. Okay, so continue.
Verse 15. The merchants of these things, which were made rich by her, shall stand afar off for the fear of her torment, weeping and wailing,
Mm-hmm.
and saying, at last, that great city that was clothed with fine linen, and purple and scarlet, and decked with gold and precious stones and pearls.
And these are all the things that America has. Okay, all the diamonds you could want, all the pearls, the silver, the gold, you get it right here in America. Just go to 34th Street, the Diamond District. And who runs it? Mr. Goldstein, Mr. Silverstein, Mr. Rubystein. All the Steens and Steins own all of those diamonds. Okay, right there on 34th Street in the Diamond District. Okay, so all the gold that's in the world could be found right here in America. Okay, all these precious resources and wealth is right here in this country. Okay, at one point the gold reserve was here. Remember, it was in Kentucky. What do you call a place? Fort Knox.
Yeah.
In Fort Knox, it's probably still there too. But they told you they took all the gold, but who knows? They're probably still there too in Fort Knox. Fort Knox had the largest reserve of gold that they stole from all the nations. Because where does most of the gold come from in the world? Most of the gold that all the world and nations use today come from where? Which part of Africa? West Africa, yeah. From Ghana and where else? And where else? South Africa. South Africa and Namibia. Remember, that's where the De Beers and remember what's his name was controlling that area when Mandela was locked up in prison. South Africa has the largest deposit of gold, and that's where the Rhodes, the De Beers, and all those rich family have all that gold in South Africa. Okay, South Africa. All right, and who controls that? The so-called Jews. They control that wealth in South Africa. And why did they elect Mandela as president of South Africa? Was it because they wanted to show love and democracy?
Nope.
No. What was the reason behind of that? Let me see if y'all could pick up. What was the reason why they elected Mandela? Well, they chose him. He was selected to be the president of South Africa. What was the reason behind of that? Y'all know. Why did they select Mandela to be the president of South Africa? Is it because he spent 30 years in South African jail and they say, oh, we're sorry, Mandela? Come up front, Judah.
He was the noble king. He was the noble king. To stop the people from the uprising.
Right. He was used to appease the people and to make them believe that democracy and freedom of equality was coming to South Africa. Mandela was part of that. They chose him. They put him out of prison. All right. And they said, listen, we know there's problem in South Africa, but you could be the face of South Africa, but we will still be controlling and running South Africa behind the scene. It's the same they did to Obama. He's just a band-aid to keep the people blindsided. You understand? They just put him in there in power, say, okay, we appease you, put him up there. Mandela was done with all part of the plan. They took him out of prison and said, listen, we'll use you so we could stop the violence and the uprising, because what was happening in South Africa? What was happening? Apartheid. It wasn't looking good for the white power structure in the world. And during that time, who was in office as president here in this country?
Was it Reagan?
Reagan. Okay, I remember in the 80s, what was happening here in the 80s? A lot of black people was protesting against South Africa. Black American leaders here, Jesse Jackson, the whole was telling Reagan, listen, if you don't stop supporting South Africa, we're gonna protest against the system, and we're not gonna support nothing that you're doing in South Africa. So that was starting to like, oh, wait a minute. You know, whenever we get involved in anything, pressure applies. So in order to look good in the face of the world, they said, you know what? Go get Mandela out of prison. Get him out of prison, brush him up, and make him run for office. He's going to win the election, and put him up there, but behind the scene, we're still controlling things. White power never gives up white power. Don't believe that crap.
Diabolical.
Okay? White power structure will never give up their power structure. Okay? Never. They will never give it up. Yes, yeah, Howard.
Yeah, and his wife, Wendy, she was still active.
She was still active, and they quieted her down, and they put him up there. White supremacy will never give up their power. Never. They will never do it. Not as long as they're ruined. They'll never give up that white supremacy. Okay? White supremacy will rule until they're finally destroyed, but they will never give it up and say, we're going to put a black man up there and just give him all the wealth. They didn't take up back and give up the wealth. They just say, you go up there, but we'll be in the background. We'll be controlling. We'll be the puppet masters. Okay? And they were still controlling South Africa. It was just a form of appeasement. Just like Obama. Obama was a form of appeasement for them to get their stuff together. Remember, they had to come up with what? With COVID.
Oh, right.
They had to come up with a lot of things. They had to come up with revamping the system. So that give them time to do their dirt to keep the people what? Distracted. Distraction. Distraction. You understand?
It worked.
It works. Distraction. If you got a hungry lion coming at you, what would you do to distract him? You're gonna feed him. You're gonna feed him. You're gonna distract him while you get yourself together. Throw him something to eat, or you're gonna be eaten by him. You understand? So what they did, they used a distraction strategy. They always use that. Distraction. All right? Just like they have this famous saying, how was Houdini able to disappear an elephant from a full room? He used distraction, the art of illusion. Yeah, it works all the time. The best way to fight a warfare is by using distraction. All right? So you have to have us distracted. So you said, you know what? We know we're looking stink in front of the eyes of the world. Everybody's starting to wake up, but let's get Obama. Let's get Obama. Pull him up, bring him up, and put him up there. You gotta remember, nobody in this country is elected unless you're selected by the ruling elites.
That's right.
You have to be selected by the ruling elites in order for you to become a president. You might think, oh, we voted for him. I love that. Up here, say, I voted for, we vote. Man, listen, man. We got a lot to learn, man. Your votes don't mean squat doodle.
That's right.
Okay, they put who they want to put in office, man. If you selected by the ruling elites, that's who's going to become president. That's who's going to become whatever position they want, not your votes. They only use your votes to make you believe you have a part in what goes on in the country. Because I'm gonna give you an example. If your vote played a part that goes down, why can't you decide to tell the government, I don't want you taking no tax on my pay unless I get my money first? Could you tell the government that? You can't. Hey, don't take no tax on my money unless I get my money first, and I'll give you your share. You can't tell them that. They take your money before you get paid. Before you get your paycheck, that tax money is taken out.
Extortion.
You can't change that. You can't stop that. Ask Red Fox too. All right. Listen, man. This country is ran by gangsterism, man.
That's
By
right.
criminals. Okay. And they only used democracy as a weapon to disarm the people. Understand? Because what I'm saying, I could read in this book that I have here too, how Mandela was put there by the elites of South Africa, the ruling oligarchy of South Africa. They put him there. They got him out of prison, brush him up, and put him in office to run for office, to distract the people while they continue doing what they was doing. That's how America operates. You understand? All the dictators in the world, who backed and supported those dictators around different countries in the world? Who was the one that helped put Saddam Hussein in power? America. All right? Yeah.
Didn't they go to school together?
No, not him. That's the one in South America. But Saddam Hussein was put there in power by the United States government. They backed and financed him to fight against Iran with the 8-year war against Iran. They financed him. Him, America, Britain, France. Okay? Every dictator that you have seen that came out from the 40s, the 50s, the 60s, the 70s was put there and backed by the United States. You understand? At even one point, Fidel Castro
Yep.
was working with the United States of America, and Fidel Castro said, hell no, to hell with that. Fidel Castro said, you know what? Nah.
I'm going to
And
Russia.
from 1959 until his death, Fidel Castro was an enemy to America.
That's right.
Okay? Noriega. The United States was the one that put him there. All the coups in South America was done by America. They backed and financed all those dictators. They overthrew countries and put in puppet leaders. You understand? It's how America operates. It's a gangster system. Okay? It's not no democracy. Okay?
That's the same thing go for Haiti as well.
Haiti.
Yeah.
All the years that Haiti was there with Papa Doc, Baby Doc. America put those dictators in powers in Haiti. You hear Papa Doc, Duvalier? He was put there by the United States, his son. All right? So America puts in puppet leaders in all these countries and they finance them. But when you go against them or you don't listen to them, they use what? Political hitmen. All right? There's a book written by this guy, Confession of a Political Hitman. His job was to take out all the leaders that would not go along with American policy. His job was a political hitman. They would come in with the IMF, give you the money. So listen, you take this money, don't worry about it. You just pay back later. But in the end, you have to pay that debt for the rest of your life. The interest that they charge, compound triple interest, that keeps your country in debt forever. Okay? The IMF, International Monetary Fund, and the World Bank, they finance these countries. And then when you can't pay, paid back. They said, well, you know what? You're indebted to us. We own your oil business. We own the factories, the company that you have. Don't worry about it. And they put in their political leaders in office. And when you oppose that,
Get rid of you.
get rid of you. All right. In the Philippines, with Marcos and all these guys, there was United States puppets that they had there in office. That's how this country operates, man. Don't believe that it's a democracy. Don't believe that for the 1 minute of your life. All right? This country is a treacherous, blood, evil, wicked country. They believe in bloodshed and killing and deception. Like I said, they only use democracy to make you believe. That's how they run this country. Deception. Remember, I played when I was here last week. The guy was telling you. Let me play it again one more time. Let me, you can listen to this. Listen to this here. All right. Oh, did I lose it? Oh, I lost it. Okay, here it is. Now listen to this.
Sub-Saharan Africa has been fundamental to the global prosperity of the advanced countries. And Africa had a role to play. It has a role as a raw material producer. We will not allow Sub-Saharan Africa to escape that. Okay, we do everything to keep Sub-Saharan Africa where it is, also impoverished. It's absolutely vital for the prosperity of everyone else. So let's get clear about that. Okay, and this means all the economic structures, all the global institutions, and the economics we teach everyone is all designed to keep Africa exactly where it is.
Hear that?
And whether it is Europe or US or now China, it's always the same. We need Africa to be impoverished because we need those raw materials and we need them dirt cheap. Okay, so that's the message. It doesn't mean to say that there's nothing Africans can do. Of course there is. This is what it's about. Because if Africa does do something different, I assure you living standards of all those in Europe and North America and Asia is going to fall. Okay? And that is a big price to pay. I assure you that the West is not going to allow that without a big fight. Okay, so the job of many Western academics is to convince Africans they have to keep doing what they're doing. Okay, and to show them it's your fault that you're poor. It's not our fault. It's your fault that you're poor. You know, so this is what we do in academic institutions. We know the basic forces that have caused this underdevelopment. We know it's colonization. We cannot afford to allow Africa to industrialize and start producing manufacturers. Okay, so we will do everything to stop that. And I'm going to show you how we actually block that. We had East Asian rapid industrialization processes. So in the earlier period, we had Japan and Korea and Taiwan. Okay, rapid growth, sucking in raw materials from Africa, driving up the prices. After those countries finished industrialization, then Sub-Saharan African growth rate again fell. Sub-Saharan Africa is condemned to this role, just the supplier of raw materials, not a manufacturer. The currencies are collapsing of these countries, and many of them are Sub-Saharan African countries. After colonization ended, we needed new structures to keep these countries where they were. Okay? And the first of those is aid. Okay, we give them aid. Aid for what? Actually, we give them aid to keep repressive regimes in power.
Yep.
That's all. All the hypocrisy about transparency and democracy and bullshit like that, it's all bullshit. But it would go to country after country offering loans. And if the president did not accept the loan, they were killed. It's just economics.
See?
It's economic warfare. The rich declare war on the poor. It happens everywhere. It happens in the country. The rich control the government. Of course they do. You really believe you have democracy? Come on. Grow up. Who has all the subsidies and income support? US, Europe. The largest budgets in the world for supporting their farmers are Europe and US. You see, we're keeping them dependent. We're keeping them on a string. And this next round of the WTO is designed to block that. To block anyone else getting on top of the ladder.
See that?
Yeah.
All right. But this it was I'm trying to find out the name of the guy, and but this was sent to me. I forgot, but it was on TikTok. All right, and that's exactly how they operate. Now I'm gonna read to you something here in this book here about Mandela. Oh shucks, and I bring the book. Wow. Oh man, I left it home. Wow. Yeah, to be continued. I left it home. All right. It tells you how Mandela was put there in office by the ruling elites of South Africa. All right. By the Beers, what's the other? The Oppenheimers. You heard of the Oppenheimers? They run and control the gold and silver there in South Africa. All right. They're the one that control all the resources in South Africa. And they were the ones that put him in office for that particular reason. All right. But let me move from there. So what I covered so far? The immigrants. Okay, I didn't cover the civil war that's coming. That's coming next. The civil war. All right. So don't fall asleep. That civil war is coming. All right. We didn't cover the war, the Third World War, right? Okay, let's cover the Civil War. All right, let's go to Second Ezra. Second Ezra. All right, Second Ezra, the 15th chapter. But no, let's go here first to Isaiah the 19th chapter. Isaiah the 19th chapter. Isaiah 19. And we're going to start from the first verse, Isaiah 19. See, now, when a lot of people read this chapter, they're talking about Egypt, man. Come on, man. All right? But you remember, America is what? Spiritual Egypt. Right? Everybody knows that, right? America is spiritual Egypt. All right? So this scripture here is also twofold. It's speaking about ancient Egypt, and it's also speaking about spiritual Egypt. All right? So read Isaiah 19 and 1.
This is the book of Isaiah, chapter 19 and verse 1. The burden of Egypt.
Now stop right there. See, the first word says, the burden of Egypt. What is a burden?
Weight.
A heavy weight to bear. Something that's hard in you, man. Something that you can't bear. Okay? And the burden is America is going through its crisis now. The immigration problem, the political problems, all right? And the brewing of a civil war. Okay, go ahead.
Behold, the Lord rideth upon a swift cloud.
Now, could you ride upon a cloud? Technically, can you ride upon a cloud? So this is what? This is a dark saying. This is a parable.
Chariot.
All right. It said, the Lord rideth upon a swift cloud, meaning he's coming upon the chariots. All right. The clouds represents the chariot and it's moving swiftly. All right. Go ahead.
And shall come into Egypt.
And he shall come into Egypt. He's going to come into Egypt. All right. Go ahead.
And the idols of Egypt shall be moved at his presence.
So all the idols that this country have is going to be moved at his presence. It's going to be destroyed. And this country is full of idols. All right, go ahead.
And the heart of Egypt shall melt in the midst of it.
See? And the heart of Egypt shall melt in the midst of it. How does your heart melt? Fear. Okay? That's what it means. The heart represents your mind. Okay? Continue.
Verse 2. I will set the Egyptians against the Egyptians.
See? See what's going to happen? The Most High is going to set them against themselves. He's going to set the Egyptians against the Egyptians. Meaning eventually it's going to be another civil war, just like you had during the time of the North and the South. It's going to be Republicans against Democrats, liberals against conservative. And that's the sound that's echoing in this country. Okay? It's coming. And he's going to set the Egyptians against the Egyptians because they're tired of Biden. Okay? And the liberals are tired of Trump. They want to lock him up. They want to get him jail. And he ain't going to jail for some reason. Okay? That's why I call him Teflon Don. He's telling the judges what to say and what to do. He's telling the judges, be quiet. And the judges have no power over him. Right. He's telling the judge, listen, put this thing off. How the hell are you giving orders to the judge? Okay? The courts have no rule over him. Okay. All that he did, he should have been in jail a long time ago. Ain't no way in hell you get away for all these years not paying taxes and the IRS is not after you to lock you up. You try doing that, paying taxes for 10 years, and see how far you're going to get.
And get indicted.
And he's been indicted, and still the man he's still out there doing his own thing. Now we got to pay $83 million. I doubt he's going to pay that. Come on, man. You and I can't do none of what he is doing. Okay? But if he goes to jail, you know his people, his supporters, they ain't going for that, right? You're not going for that. They're going to say, you're against our president, you're against Trump. And you know these white-blooded, red-blooded Republican conservatives doesn't like that. They believe Trump is their savior. He is their God. He's their king. They do everything he says and do. They believe in him. They don't believe in Biden. You really believe the average American really believe in Biden? Only the liberals, but the conservative Americans don't believe in Biden. They don't trust him. You understand? They want him out. So it's a war. The liberals want Trump out. They want him to go to jail. And you know what? That's the same thing that happened to the Roman Empire while it was crumbling.
Do you believe that within the structure of the elites, that the elites are fighting amongst themselves?
Yeah, they're fighting amongst themselves to a certain degree. You understand? That's why they took all the time to put Obama in office so they could get themselves together. Because some of them want Obama in and some didn't want Obama in. But those that want Obama in, it served their purpose. You understand? It served the purpose. Because it built up what? More of the hatred. And it also served the purpose of keeping us asleep. Because if you have a black face in office, that will make you figure that, boy, things are changing. America is not the same no more.
Right.
America loves us. We're moving forward. Things are getting better. Yeah, Judah.
Man, I was going 125th Street, right? Over there in the house. They had a big screen over there by the state building.
Mm-hmm.
People were literally crying.
Yeah.
Watching Obama become president.
Yeah. Even I wanted to work with this guy. He was from Sri Lanka. He said, Francis, I cried when Obama went in office. I said, what? He said, yeah. Because, a lot of people in Sri Lanka, they identify with the plight of black people over here. So he said, yes, I voted for Obama. I cried when he got in office. I was like, what? I was like, unbelievable, man. You understand? So, but it served its purpose. Obama served its purpose. You understand? For the elites. You understand? It served two purposes: to arouse the white, conservative, hateful, and it served the purpose to put us back to sleep. Because it really dumbed down black people to make us believe that when Obama got in there, he was going to do changes and make things better for black people. But he really didn't do nothing much for us. He did more for who? For transsexual and homosexuals. Yeah, he sanctioned the guillotine, and he also sanctioned executive order against us to put us back in slavery too. Yeah, and one of his executive orders was to put us back in slavery. Obama, yeah. I was surprised when I looked it up. One of his executive order, I forgot the exact number, was put in place to put us back in slavery. A lot of people didn't read some of those executive orders, man. But he said, as president, he passed the most executive orders. Yeah. He might be. Yeah, he might be. He got the swag of an Israelite. You know what I mean? You know? But in one of his executive orders, I forgot, and I used to have it, but I forgot exactly which one. But when you look up all his executive orders, one of them was to put us back in slavery. And a lot of black people were surprised and shocked, like, huh? They couldn't believe it. But it wasn't there. He even passed executive order to keep Monsanto free from being tried or brought to court or sued by the American government.
That's those who made the Roundup, right?
Yeah, Monsanto is a criminal company, man.
Yeah.
They was back there in Vietnam making the Agent Orange too. So when you make executive order to protect companies like that, you're a criminal, man. But that's one of the executive order that he made to protect Monsanto from being sued from the American people. Right? So he served his purpose, and the elites knew exactly why they did it. But now the elite have a different agenda now. And the agenda is this: every 8 years, you have a Democrat. Then after that, you have a Republican. That's how the plan goes. Every 8 years, you have a Democrat in office. Then you bring back a Republican. Then you get a Republican in office. You bring back a Democrat. You give and you take. All right? Go back from the time of Kennedy, and you see how the plan works. And then when Reagan got into office, when Reagan was in office, how many years he did?
I think 8.
Reagan did 2 terms, 8 years. Then when Reagan got out, who came in?
Bush.
It was Ronald Bush, right? And he did what, 4 years. Then after he got out, who came in? Clinton. How many years Clinton did? 8 years. 8 years. And after Clinton, who came in? Bush. How many years he did? 8 years. Right? That's Junior Bush. Yeah, he was selected twice because the electoral votes put him in office, not the majority vote, the electoral votes. So he did 8 years. Then after him, who came next? How many years he did? You see the game, right? Then after Obama, who came next? Trump. How many years he did? He's mad because he claimed to stole the election from him. He did 4 years. All right. Now, how many years Biden did now?
4.
So far, 4, right?
The math is adding up.
Right, and it's adding up. All right. And Trump is right behind. Okay. But all of them are criminals, man. Every last one of them are criminals. All of them part of the game. You understand? There's a saying by this guy, the whole world is a stage. It's a stage, yeah.
So it's fair to say that the elite is part of the, what you call that, the no the elite, the ones them that vote, like your vote don't count.
The electoral votes.
Electoral
vote. Yeah.
So those are the elites.
Yeah, the elites are part of the electoral votes.
Because you could never see who
You don't know who they are.
Right.
They don't tell you who they are. But how the hell they voting to put somebody in office when it's supposed to be the popular vote? They vote override your popular vote. But we don't see the game that's being played, man. Yeah.
I just want to say, Tim, you said the whole world is a stage. Comes to mind the song Steve Harrington. The whole world is a stage.
Yeah.
And no one else can play your part.
Right.
Who is supposed to say that?
Yeah. But the whole world is a stage. You understand? Yeah, Judah.
Yeah, I was under the thinking that, how you said you have the elites that select who want to be president, then you have your votes. It makes me think when you vote, they get to see how the
masses think. Yes. It's called a molding process. You socially engineer. You see how the masses think, and you put that into a data in a think tank, and you control that, and you use that. Oh, that's how they think? Okay, we're going to manipulate that. That's what they do. That's why they have you do polls and data and all the different surveys, so they could see how you think, and then they come back and control and manipulate that. You understand? It's all it's all a damn game and a scheme, man. Okay? Because behind the scene, the electoral votes call the shots. Because remember, Bush won through the electoral votes. He didn't win through the popular votes. No, Obama won through the popular too, and the electoral too. But he won through the popular votes too. But it comes down to the electoral votes. They decide who's going to become the president. But
some state,
some
states you go to, sometimes you hear it's like just 16 electoral vote there. Like how do you add the numbers if the majority is voting for this particular person, and then you take 16 people to win the vote?
Right.
It doesn't add up.
It's supposed to be based on the popular votes.
Right.
You understand? But they just, like I said, they make rules as they go along and change it and make you believe, oh, well, that's part of the electoral democratic process of our country. No. They're manipulating the whole thing to make you believe that. Okay? All right. So where we were?
Isaiah 19:3.
Okay, Isaiah 19:3.
Actually 2.
All right.
This is the book of Isaiah, chapter 19 and verse 2. I will set the Egyptians against the Egyptians.
Civil war. Okay, go ahead.
And they shall fight everyone against his brother.
And that's coming. That's coming very soon. All right, it's brewing. All right, go ahead.
And everyone against his neighbor. City against city. And kingdom against kingdom.
Doesn't Texas want to succeed? Texas had a big thing. Texas is getting the rest of the states to succeed from the union. All right, and this most states gonna follow Texas. That's what's brewing. All right, one of the governor from Texas went over there to India to get approval and money and stuff from India, so he could move forward in succeeding from the union. It's brewing. It's coming. Remember, Texas is a damn Yahoo state too. Okay, remember the Carruthers of Ricardo movie we saw, the 24th, when the black infantrymen in World War I was stationed there in Texas. Them Yahoos gave them hell. Okay, and these black soldiers fought in World War I, but here is it, the marshals and the police department is telling them what to do and beating them down. So the 24th, they say, you know what? No more of this crap. They gave the orders, get your guns, and they went in and started killing all those damn crackers over there in that area. Shoot them down, man. Okay, they said no more of that crap. It's called the 24th, and this was based on a true event where these black soldiers that fought in World War I were discriminated, were used, disrespected out there in Texas, where those yahoos live. The 24th. Yeah, it's on Prime. Yeah. All right. And it was a true a historical event of black soldiers that fought in World War I that came back from France, and they were stationed at the camp in Texas. And them Texas white boys gave them hell, man. So when the Jake said, listen, man, ain't nobody innocent. We're not innocent. They're not innocent. And he said, fire. Fire at will. Went in there and shot up all those boys up in them good old boys on there, man. The whole town. Then at the end, they court-martialed them and they sentenced them to death for what they did. So all the Jakes in the end said, we're men. They said, so how do you plead? Why did you do it? So we're men. They didn't get no dignity and respect. Here you go, you went and fight in World War I, came back fighting for this country, and you still being disrespected? They said, nah, we ain't going for that, man. Yeah. 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 But they went over and they fought over there. Fought in World War I over there in World War I and came back and still being disrespected, still being discriminated, still being called a boy, still being called a nigger, being spit upon. They said, no, we're not going for that no more. So one of the Jake told the Jake, he said, why? You have a problem with me? He said, you're playing the harmonica. He said, listen to me, boy. He said, listen to me. He said, listen. He said, we went up in Sangwon Hill. Boys were dying all over. We took the hill. And what's his name? What's a boy named Teddy Roosevelt? He came back to Washington and took the credit. Yeah. You know, the Rough Riders were Jake. That's the Buffalo Soldiers that fought when the war in Sangwon Hill. That fought with Teddy Roosevelt. They're called Rough Riders. So when they won that war, they took the hill in Sangwon, which is in Cuba. Teddy Roosevelt came back to America and said him and the white soldiers won the war. And the black Rough Riders didn't get no credit for it. So Jake said, you want to know what my problem is? That's my problem. He said, we didn't get no credit for that war that we fought or won. And he said, my boys were dying all over. And that's what Teddy Roosevelt did. He went and took the credit with the white soldiers. And he gave the black soldiers no credit that fought for him, that went up in Sangwon Hill and took that hill. And Bob Marley sung that song, Buffalo Soldier. That's what he was singing about. And the Buffalo Soldiers fought in World War II, okay, in different infantry division. There was a Harlem division that they fought. It was a division that they fought in World War II too. Okay, so the Buffalo Soldiers went to World War I and they went into World War II. When World War II, they weren't called Buffalo Soldiers no more. So at the end of World War I, the name Buffalo Soldiers came to an end, but they were known as different regiments. Okay, when you hear about the 10th Cavalry, those are Buffalo Soldiers that fought in the Civil War. The 10th Cavalry. Okay, they took down Geronimo and the different Indian tribes out in the West. The 10th Cavalry. Buffalo Soldiers. All right, and those Buffalo Soldiers fought in all the wars: World War I, World War II, okay, Vietnam, Korean War, okay, in Iwo Jima in Japan, in the Pacific War, when they're fighting against Japan. They didn't get no credit for that. Okay, so I don't see why people fighting in these wars and not getting no credit. You come back and you still treat it as a piece of garbage. Yeah.
Yeah, America always do that.
Yeah.
Like in the Olympics, we don't get no credit for it. It's always America won the gold star.
Yeah.
Not Israel won the gold star. Or blacks won the gold star. They take the credit for everything.
Take the credit for everything, man. All right. Understand? So, but we always end up paying the price, man. Just like last week, the 3 soldiers that died were all black. I think it was one female and 2 brothers.
That's very suspicious.
You know?
Yeah.
And they said where they were in the base, and it was a drone that killed them. And they said this wasn't the first time. They said the drone, many drone attacks. But I think that was part of the plot. America always does that. They put you in the line of fire so they could use justification for their BS. Just like they used the Gulf of Tonkin for their justification. All right? All right? So go ahead. So the civil war is brewing. Go ahead.
Isaiah chapter 19 and verse 3. And the spirit of Egypt shall fail in the midst thereof.
And that's what's going to happen. The spirit of Egypt is going to fail. Like we see, white boys are not fighting in their military like they used to. They're not joining the military like they used to. All right? Go back to that scripture again, Jeremiah 51. Hold this here. Come back to that. Jeremiah 51. Jeremiah 51 and start from 30.
This is the book of Jeremiah, chapter 51 and verse 30. The mighty men of Babylon have forborne to fight.
See what it says? The mighty men of Babylon have forborne to fight. They're not going to fight for their country no more. They said the enlisting list for white soldiers has decreased tremendously. But for blacks and Hispanics, Latinos, they said it has increased tremendously. More of us are joining the military than white boys are joining. Okay, go ahead.
They have remained in their holes. Their might had failed. They became as women. They have burned her dwelling places. Her bars are broken.
All right, so go back to Isaiah now.
Lost the place.
Read the third verse again. Yeah.
What?
Isaiah 19 and 3.
19, 3. This is the book of Isaiah, chapter 19 and verse 3. And the spirit of Egypt shall fail in the midst thereof, and I will destroy the counsel thereof, and they shall seek to the idols and to the charmers and to them that have familiar spirits.
And that's what they're doing now. They're dealing with familiar spirits. They're seeking their warlords, the warlocks, the witches. All right, they're going to the soothsayers, to the top demonic forces to give them insight on what's happening to America. They're losing their counsel. They don't have that great counsel that they once had. Okay, go ahead.
And to the wizards and the Egyptians will I give over into the hand of a cruel lord, and a fierce king shall rule over them, saith the Lord of hosts. And the waters shall fail from the sea, and the rivers shall be wasted and dried up.
Right, and that's happening. The rivers and it is drying up in this country. All right, go ahead.
And they shall turn the rivers far away, and the brooks of defense shall be emptied and dried up, and the reed and flags shall wither. The paper reeds by the brooks, by the mouth of the brooks, everything sworn by the brooks shall wither, be driven away, and be no more.
Right, and this happened in Egypt too. Like I said, history always repeats itself. This happened in ancient Egypt, and it's going to happen in modern day Egypt again. All right, go ahead.
The fishers also shall mourn, and all that cast angles into the brooks shall lament, and they shall spread nets.
And they that spread nets.
And they that spread nets upon the water shall languish.
Right. So I mean, the fishing business is going to dwindle down. All right. When you spread nets upon it, what you mean? You're spreading nets to catch your fish. All right. Now they have to go out further and further out in the ocean now. Right. Before you used to go right to the shore and catch your fish. All right. In the bayou and all those areas. Okay. Go ahead.
Moreover, they that work in fine flax, and they that weave networks shall be confounded, and they shall be broken in the purposes thereof. All that make what's that word?
Sluice.
Sluice and ponds for fish.
So sluice and ponds is like artificial ponds and lakes that you make. And this country have a lot of that. They make like artificial lakes and ponds in different areas. All right. Yeah.
Homebred.
What do you call it?
Homebred.
Homebred. Oh yeah. Mm.
Like getting little fish. That's why they don't want you to take no little fish.
Mm-hmm.
They need the little fish to breathe
Right.
in their own home tank.
Right. See, just like when we went upstate to have the tabernacle, that's not a natural thing. That was made. That was made there. It was a lake. Was a lake? What they call it? A lake. That's a lake, right? Yeah, that was made there for that purpose. All right. All right. Go ahead.
Surely the princes of Zohan are fools. The counsels of the wise counselors of Pharaoh is become brutish.
See, just like back then, Pharaoh counselors became brutish, just like the counselors today become brutish too. All right. Remember, in every kingdom and rulership, you have wise men, you have the elites, right? You have the top elites that run the government, that have advisors that advise you in political, military, economical, whatever situation. That's why in this country they have a cabinet and they have different positions. They have different what you call offices. They have the office of transportation, defense, agriculture, the different departments, all right, that runs this country, finance, okay? So back in the Asian world was the same thing, and America took that from all the Asian nations, how to set up a kingdom and rule a kingdom. All right, go ahead.
How say ye unto Pharaoh, I am the son of the wise, the son of ancient kings.
Mm-hmm.
Where are they? Where are they? Where are they wise men? Where are the wise men? Sorry. And let them tell thee now, and let them know that the Lord of hosts had purpose upon Egypt.
Right. So what the Most High is going to propose upon Egypt, the spiritual modern day Egypt. Okay. Continue.
The princes of Zohan are become fools, and princes of Nophi are deceived.
Mm-hmm.
They have also seduced Egypt, even they that are the stay of the tribes thereof.
Right. So those who are the big supporters that keep the country strong, even they become fools. Just like this country now is become like fools. And the Most High is going to tell you why. Go ahead.
The Lord hath mingled and preserved spirit,
Now, a perverse
spirit in the midst thereof.
So the Most High said he have mingled a perverse spirit in the midst thereof. You know, it's a perverse spirit. So that's what the Most High is doing. He has mingled a perverse spirit in the midst of this country. Everything that they're doing is perverse and backward. How you gonna have your border open with all the enemies just come in like that? Then when the immigrants do get out of control, you tell the cops to stand down. What kind of foolishness is that? They can't be arrested. All right? They can't be brought to trial. They're getting all the benefits. Yeah.
A stirring pot for chaos.
It's chaos. But that's the plan of the elites. You understand? That's part of the old saying, out of order you bring chaos. Abdo ab chaos. Okay? Go read 14 again.
Verse 14. The Lord hath mingled and perverse spirit in the midst thereof, and they have caused Egypt to err in every work thereof.
And this country is erring in every work thereof. Everything they're doing is an error. All right, go ahead.
As a drunken man staggered in his vomit.
So they're staggering like a drunken man staggering in his own vomit. Okay, and the whole world is looking at that. Okay, go ahead.
Neither shall there be any work for Egypt.
Right, because a lot of companies are laying off now. A lot of banks is closing down. Okay, you read a job report, a lot of big companies are laying off. Yeah.
I just want to say, so they're closing down too. It's all the time on my phone. They're closing down.
Which one?
Certain comes last episode. I don't know. One time I'm in Charlotte. There's a couple of places.
Yeah, but it's a big company is closing down too. A lot of them are closing down, laying off too. All right. Go ahead.
Which the head or tail, branch or rush may do.
So the head represents who?
The leaders.
The leaders. And who's the tail? The followers, mainly us, and the other white poor people in this country. Who really feels it is the poor whites in this country, but yet some of them still support and back Trump. Well, if you ain't got no other choice, what you gonna do? They need a savior, right? Everybody needs a savior and a king, right? So Trump is the ideal man for them. The great white hope. They need hope because things ain't looking too good, man. Things ain't looking bright. All right, go ahead.
In that day shall Egypt be like unto women.
So how many scriptures we read there? So the Most High said, this place is going to be like women. They're coming like women now. They want to be more transgender and everything else you can find of, man. All right, go ahead.
And it shall be afraid and fear because of the shaking of the hand of the Lord of hosts, which he shaketh over it.
And that's what's going to happen. All right, go ahead.
And the land of Judah shall be a terror unto Egypt. Everyone that maketh mention thereof shall be afraid in himself, because of the counsel of the Lord of hosts, which he had determined against it. In that day.
All right, that's it. All right. So with that, I want to read this one here, but we're gonna close off. We're gonna end it for this segment for now, and we're gonna continue some other time, maybe next week, or most are willing. But we're gonna end the class here, and yeah, yes.
Can you share with me your insight on immigrants? Them flooding immigrants into New York. What was the place that sent all the immigrants? It started from where?
It was Texas. No, from Florida.
Right.
That governor DeSantis. DeSantis. He is the one that shipped them up here, busloads of them to different places because he doesn't want them there. So he said, send them to New York, where it's more of a liberal state or a city, and they will accept you and they will pay for you and give you lodging and food and everything. So that was part of the plan. But how the hell they got in here in the first place is amazed me. Because you're supposed to have what? Border patrol on the borders.
Right.
How did they get into the border?
Told them to stand down.
They're told to stand down.
Right.
Because you know, them yahoos love to kill anybody that coming into their country. If you're not a white-blooded American, they will shoot you and kill you.
What they call them?
The border patrol.
Now, is there somewhere in the scriptures where I can? Is there somewhere in the scriptures where I can identify that with what's going on with the?
Oh, you wasn't here when I read it earlier? Was you here?
I don't know.
Okay, let's go back to that. Nahum, the 3rd chapter.
Okay.
Let me show you.
I was here, but I missed that.
Yeah, you probably go back to Nahum, the 3rd chapter. Nahum 3 and 12. All that is in the scriptures, right in the scriptures too. Nahum 3 and 12.
This is the book of Nahum, chapter 3 and verse 12. All thy strongholds shall be like fig trees in the first ripe figs.
So all the strongholds represents what? The police force, the border patrol, everything that keeps this country strong. So the stronghold, the military shall be like a fig tree. When it's ripe, it starts to drop off the tree, it dropping. So I mean, everything is falling from this country. Everything is not going the way it used to go. All right, go ahead.
If they shall be shaken, they shall even fall into the mouth of the eaters. Behold, thy people in the midst of thee are women.
See, the Most High said again, the people in the midst of thee are like women. All right, go ahead.
The gates of thy land shall be set wide open unto thine enemies.
So you see that? The gates of thy city shall be set wide open to your enemies. This is the only place in the world where the gates of this place is set wide open to their enemies. Everybody's coming in across the border.
But see, that's where I'm having a little block.
Mm-hmm.
Now, though these are still my brothers and sisters.
Some of them.
Okay.
Some of them.
Right. Okay. Got you.
Yeah.
All right. Okay.
Yeah.
And some of them are my enemies.
Some of my enemies coming in too. Even some those that are coming to be enemies too. You understand? Because remember, the Most High, everything starts first internally, then it starts externally.
Right.
So when you fall internally first, that's what does the damage, because that's how Rome fell. Rome fell first internally, then the external force came and give the final blow. So that's part of the Most High plan. So finish reading that.
Verse 13, behold, thy people in the midst of thee are women. The gates of thy land shall be set wide open unto thine enemies.
Mhm.
The fire shall devour thy bars.
See, and the fire is going to devour their bars. So it's set wide open to their enemies. A lot of those yahoos down in those certain states and stuff, they said, what the hell, our country open to our enemies? Anybody can be coming across those borders. Arabs, Iranians. So you know the yahoos down there, they don't like that. They're ready to go to war, and they blame Biden. You understand? So they want Trump. Trump is in there. Trump will keep our country strong. You understand? They believe in Trump. They say Biden is weak. He's what you call senile. All right? And you know them yahoos don't like liberal Democrats. They always say they're weak. They're destroying the country. You understand? So it's coming to that clash. The civil war is coming. Because if Trump doesn't get in there, it's on, baby. It's on. All right? So with that, close up and I'll say shalom. I'll say shalom until next week.